pastor here, and just, on behalf of our church family, welcome to this tradition now at Westminster. We are delighted to host the Piqua Civic Band Holiday Concert this afternoon. At the end of the program, you are invited to contribute to the Memorial Music Fund that I'm told sponsors musical programs for our congregation and community. And we certainly will appreciate your generosity in supporting that fund. And just as importantly, you are welcome to come through these large doors and back doors there for a time of fellowship and some wonderful, delicious treats and so forth in the fellowship hall after the concert today. So again, welcome.
going to take it off. All right. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. Welcome to the Piqua Civic Band Holiday Concert. We're so glad that you guys could join us this afternoon. We want to say thank you to our sponsors for this concert, which are the Miami County Foundation and Westminster Presbyterian Church. So thank you for having and hosting us here and for supporting this program. We opened with Sleigh Ride by Lori Anderson, a holiday favorite that would be remiss if we didn't play that. And we're going to move on to a carol that probably most of you have never heard before. It's a carol that comes from the area of Flanders. If you don't know where Flanders is, that's the lowlands of Northern Europe. And I'm happy to have this on this concert as we just commemorated the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, many of which those battles were fought in that region. So this is a Flemish carol that's called A Little Child is Born on Earth. So here is Fantasy on a Flemish Carol. How many of you have ever actually seen Babes in Toyland? Okay, so I actually just performed in a production of this in the pit at UD. I had never seen it before. I still haven't seen it because I was in the pit. But I didn't know the story, and it's darker than I thought it would be for a children's show. The March of the Toys takes place in the second act, and basically the toy maker's evil, which I didn't know before. But fortunately, the toys in this march are okay. We don't have to worry about that. So this is the March of the Toys from Babes in Toyland. Our next piece of music is from a show that many of you may not have seen. It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. And we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of this film that was produced by Tim Burton. The music is by Danny Elfman, who has written a lot of movie music in the last 30 years or so. The plot, basically, of this film is that every holiday has its own magical kingdom. And the plot revolves around the day that Jack Skellington, the leader of Halloween Town, accidentally stumbles through the door to Christmas Town and decides that if they can do that, why can't we? And so he and his fellow Halloween Town citizens decide that they're going to make Christmas in their own image, in their own way. And by the end, Santa has to come to the rescue because things you can imagine go pretty south. So in this medley, you're going to hear music from the Overture, a song called What's This?, Christmas Eve Montage, Sally's Song, and finally, This Is Halloween. These are selections from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yes. Okay, it's great music. Now for something completely different. Turning our attention to, say 500 years ago, the tune, O Come Emmanuel, dates back to 15th century France. The words, of course, are older. The text dates back farther than that. It's based on the O antiphons, which are used in the Vesper service of the Catholic Church, basically the week leading up to Christmas. So, O come Emmanuel, O come light divine, O come rod of Jesse's stem. Each one of those O antiphons is sung to the tune that we all know as Veni, Veni, Emmanuel, or O come Emmanuel. And this arrangement takes that tune and puts it through a couple of variations. So here is a winter carol. There's got to be some kind of irony that one of the best known, best loved Christmas carols of all time was written by a member of the Jewish faith. But that's exactly what we have here with Irving Berlin's White Christmas. Of course, made famous by Bing Crosby and premiered in the movie Holiday Inn. It was written back in 1945. in a really warm Los Angeles hotel room. I guess they were kind of dreaming of winter as they wrote the song. But it became an instant hit and has been with us ever since. Please welcome to our stage to sing it for you, Dr. David Sears. always like to include that march on these concerts. It's the only one really that Sousa wrote that's tied directly to Christmas and to New Year's, although Sousa wasn't aware of it. He had no idea that Old Lang Syne was being used as this traditional holiday song. It actually is the marching tune of an artillery company in Boston that asked him to write a march, and so he incorporated that in. Our next piece of music is written for band and narrator, and it uses the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, by C. Clement Moore, although recently that ownership has kind of come under some debate. There's some new evidence that perhaps Moore didn't write it, somebody else did. But for our purposes, C. Clement Moore wrote this poem. And to read it for you as we perform with him is our narrator for this afternoon, Pastor Todd Allen.
Visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. Arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and the moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave luster of midday and threw on the objects below. Eyes should appear, but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Commandant, Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen! To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall! Now dash away, dash away, dash away, all!
Leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. I drew in my head and was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his sack. Oh, his eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke of it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know that I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger inside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, and to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight,
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Our next piece of music is a medley called Home for Christmas, and in this montage you're going to hear Home for the Holidays, Walking in a Winter Wonderland, Over the River and Through the Woods, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. Here is Home for Christmas. It's just not Christmas without Silent Night. Our next piece of music was written back in the early 1800s by Adolphe Adam. And to sing it for you, we're going to bring Dr. Sievers back up here, and he's going to sing the less familiar, maybe French version of the carol, and then he'll jump in and sing the English version as well. Would you please welcome back Dr. Sievers? forever synonymous with Nat King Cole, the Christmas song was actually written by another printer, Mel Torme, again in a hot summer in the middle of Los Angeles. So we hear them singing about, chestnuts roasting over an open fire. They probably were thinking cool while they were sitting in that hot room. But Dave's going to now sing for you the Christmas song. Receivers in your Piqua Civic band. Now it's time for you to get in on the act. You'll find in your programs the words for our Pops sing-along. So go ahead and belt it out. Dr. Stevers is here to lead you. Let's hear you nice and loud. Well, did you have fun this afternoon? Good, I'm glad. And hopefully we got you in the Christmas spirit, even though the weather's not cooperating with us. You could have been outside hanging up Christmas lights today, but thank you for being here instead. Again, we want to thank both the Miami County Foundation and Westminster Presbyterian for supporting this concert. We hope to see you guys all coming out this summer. Our first concert of the season will be 4th of July, and I believe we're going to be downtown again in the ballroom at the library. So inside, out of the heat. So come join us, we'll be up there. And then come join us at Hans Pavilion the rest of the season, every Thursday after that in the pavilion. So thank you so much for coming, and we're going to close now as we always do with the Stars and Stripes Forever.